and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. First of all, in this webinar, we have our distinguished speaker, Associate Professor Ferry G from Edith Cowan University, Australia, that will explain the basic principles and minimum standard to be fulfilled to get published in a highly reputable journal, preferably the Q1 and Q2 Scopus Index journal, and also how to practice strategy to choose a suitable Scopus Index journal. After that, we also have a question and answer session, and also general feedback from Professor Ferry on the 5 selected abstracts that we have. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin our webinar, maybe we could have a brief photo session to document it. So for all of you that joined today, maybe you could turn on your video first, so we could take a picture. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, maybe I could ask for Mas Nandi to help us, to help me for taking picture. Okay, on my remarks. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And is that all, Mas Nandi? Or we have another? Okay, I think it's enough. Okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, first of all, I would like to introduce our distinguished speaker for today. Professor Ferry G is the Associate Professor in Supply Chain and Logistic Management in the School of Business and Law in Edith Cowan University, Australia. Currently, he also the committee, the secretary of the Charter Institute Logistic and Transport of CILTA in Western Australia, a committee, and also the Supply Chain and Logistic Association of Australia, Western Australia Committee. Professor Ferry G also has maintained a high quality of research throughout his academic career, including international scholarly leadership in the area of supply chain management and logistics. From 2017 until now, he also has published more than 55 referred journal articles, including 31 articles in Q1 Scopus Index rank in SIMAGO, and 23 articles in QT rank in SIMAGO, and also 10 referred conference papers. So we have a very distinguished speaker right now who will show us how to publish our article in the international journal. So without further ado, to Professor Ferry, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you so much, Ibu Moderator. Right, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Ferry G. Currently working at Edith Cowan University in School of Business and Law in Western Australia. So I'm now in Jakarta at this moment. So I would love to meet you face to face, but I know some of you prefer online webinar. So I'm more than happy to, share and also review 5 very good abstracts. And then if you have any questions in regard to your research, especially you got papers and any particular question, please ask during Q&A. So can I please share my presentation so everybody can see the slide? So what we're going to do, okay, so everybody can see my slide, of course. Okay, so this is my email address. If you have WhatsApp, so you'll be able to contact me +6141 496 8978. So moderator Ibu Nidan Kafian already introduced me. You know, I published for this year, all Q1, I think 10 articles. So pretty much for each month, I publish at least 2 articles. Okay, so for 6 months, usually 12 papers already, you know, have been submitted. So it's, you know, that's my KPI as a junior professor. So what we're going to do, this is the list for my research grant. So research grant helping me, you know, to publish in the top tier journals, pretty much Q1 and Q2. So the first grants, what I received for about digital competency framework for Australia Energy. And the second project about post-COVID-19 in terms of business resilience in 2021. So currently I'm working on a paper and planning to publish in Q1, which is the Journal of the Small Business Management. Because this project is focused more in small and medium enterprises. And the third project here currently still under review. The paper is already completed in 2020. And the fourth project also under second round review, right? So keep finger crossed, you know, when you publish Q1, Q2, you got a lot of papers sometimes under review. You know, my paper is the longest one, is a 5th round review. So it took me nearly 16 months until all the reviewers or chief editors or editor boards happy with that paper. The 5th project about the waste source behavior, that paper already accepted. It's very quick. The project finished in 2020, and the paper actually has been submitted in in the middle of 2021, and then early 2022, the paper already published, okay, in the Q1 journal. And the second last, that project also published in the Q1 is already, you can see under list of my publications. So again, for research grants, helping you, you know, to do your project, research project, and you'll be able to publish in the top tier journals. So everybody knows in 1991, so Professor Burnett mentioned what's the research. So research is systematic, careful inquiry or examination to discover new information or relationship and to expand and verify existing knowledge for some specified purpose. So everybody knows under social science researcher or in the economics or business, there are 3 types of research. The first one is the level of in terms of the descriptive research. So we just want to describe, explore, finding out, you know, whatever you found in your research project. So explanatory research to explain how or why things are as they are, and using these to estimate or to predict. And then the highest level is analyzing or evaluation research. Now, in terms of the research process, according to literature, first of all, we need to identify topic. Okay, so once you know the topic, say for example, the topic about, you know, taxation or accounting behavior, or maybe about, you know, sustainability or about climate change, or once you determine the topic, and then you start doing your literature review. Okay, so literature review, and then you think about the conceptual model, and then of course you have to think about it about theories, and then you have a research question, and then this helping you to determine the objectives of your research, and then you decide what research strategy and conducting research and defining. So now in terms of the reviewing the literature, okay, so I'm sorry, everybody can see my slide. I'm sorry if you cannot see.
Okay, I think we cannot see your slide moving to another page, sir.
Okay, so what we're going to do, maybe I can just share into that one there. Everybody can see that?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So this is very important when you develop your paper in terms of Q1 or Q2. My experience when I write, certain topic. So there are several elements you have to think about the literature review in terms of the entire basis of the research and a source of ideas and topic for research, right? And then a source of information or research already done by others. I give you example like what I review 5 abstract. What I can see, the beauty of 5 abstracts, selected abstracts who asked me to review, I enjoy reading it. Of course, when I look at review the entire papers, very important to look at, literature review or theories underpinning on your research. So talking about literature review, you have to know what information research already done by others. So if you publish in top tier journal, which is Q1, my experience is make sure you have to cite 2 or 3 papers from Q1, the target journal, what you want to publish. Any previous research from that journal, and then you can cite or you can, review that literature. Of course, that the literature review must be related on your topic, okay? So can we please do literature review surrounding methodology? Of course you can. In a certain journal, the reviewers really would like to say the literature review surrounding methodology, what you're doing. Say, for example, currently I'm working on the project with Pak Priyanto, yeah, and using Delphi approach, Delphi analytical network process. These particular, we need to look at what literature, that previous research using that methods. A source of methodology or theoretical ideas are very important in Q1, even Q2, right? So in your paper, of course, you have a methodology section. So mostly I review papers. Unfortunately, I decline or reject the paper because the methodology section is very thin, was very weak. A lot of papers, they don't understand and they did not show the literature on the methodology. So the literature review is not only the topic, not only the content, not only the variables, construct, the framework, but also methodology as well as theoretical ideas. Literature review, you also can do comparison between your research and that of others. A source of information that is an integral or supported part of the research. So this context is very useful for those authors you're coming from industry. You're coming from practitioners. And because you can show that very good case study from the real world, industry solutions, and you can show that the example or the data, for example, on the local market, for example. So I think everybody knows why we publish in the top tier journal. The main thing is you need to contribute new body of knowledge and you become popular in particular areas. Of course, you can get promotion in university, okay? Now, this one is very important, okay? If you want to publish, you need to understand the needs of the journal. For example, my colleagues publish one of the journal of supply chain management, journal of Asia business studies, or journal of corporate governance or social responsibility journal under Emerald Insight. So first thing, you need to look at the journal web page and understand who are your audience, understand what topics cover, very important, right? So myself as a guest editor in Q1 journal of Q2 journal, myself including reviewers and editorial boards members. So I just give you the list, what particular under Q1 or Q2, or the title of our workshop is how to publish in reputable journal. So reputable journal, many reputable journal, they are, even though they are Q2, but some other ranking journal, they are in A rank journal, in the high impact factors, for example. And the first thing, you need to have a very strong literature review. You need to show your critical thinking elements. You need to have very well structured and background information. So when I read through for your paper, I read your abstract. First, as an editor, before I send to the reviewers, I read your abstract, 150 words, 200 words, or structure abstract through Emerald Insight publisher, whether that topic, your abstract, it does fit on the journal. That's the first thing. And then second thing, whether this is a very a good paper, good research. And once the editor happy, then we assign 2 or 3 reviewers. So usually it takes about 2 months or 3 months for the 2 or 3 reviewers provide the report to me or to the editors. So after reading the abstract, and also I need to look at the significance of your research, the rationale, whether or not you can close the gap, what previous research has been done in the past and what you propose, make sure, you'll be able to justify your research. So the background, rationale of the study, very important. So when you write the abstract, the introduction background majority in the first paragraph, okay, including your research objective. Now, solid research design and research method is a very important. We need to look at research methods, research design. Why? I'm a quantitative research scholar. I'm also qualitative research scholar. So I am mixed method. So I can do quantitative, I can do qualitative. Currently, I'm supervising 8 doctorate students. I also supervising external doctorate student, and as a thesis, doctoral examination and reviewing a few doctoral theses from other universities in Australia. Otago, just review one doctoral thesis from Otago University in New Zealand, and one from Malaysia and one from Canada. It's very important to look at the methods and design. Okay, so say for example, if you publish under quantitative journal and you are expert in a qualitative, it means that you send the wrong house or the wrong outlet, because your paper is qualitative. Now, if you look at all those journals, usually 95% or even 100% pure quantitative. So, and they're struggling to find qualitative reviewers, right? So just be careful. So if you're using certain top methodology like structural equation modeling, multiple regression, or PLS, just be careful with PLS. If you publish in the Q1, some of the journal, they don't like PLS. Because you don't have enough sample. The sample size is too small. And that's why I'm using PLS. But, the sample size requirement for that journal majority, we really need to have a big sample. You need to show the holistic model with the structural equation modeling, for example. So, and then you need to have the quality data. That's why I mentioned to you about sample size requirement, a strong results, and then you need to have the theoretical contribution. What theories are you using? Are you using theory plan of behavior, self-determination theory, resource-based field theory, theory of constraints, social network, institution theory, you have to show strong theoretical contribution on your research. And if you have a application or applied research, right? The majority, if you are applied economic scholars or a financial reporting standard or accounting, in a taxation, a scholar, majority, you have very good foundation knowledge and case studies. And you'll be able to show a practical contribution. Okay, then you can publish into the certain journal, what we call Journal of Applied something, or Journal of Research and Application. As long as there's one word, application or applied, at the journal title name, and you just go through carefully, and they really like your strong practical contribution, then it does fit into that journal. Okay. So is it easy to publish under application or applied journal? Well, my observation of some of my authors is coming from practitioners, right? And my understanding actually, my experience is not that difficult compared to pure academic papers, right? So maybe if you can give me score, you can probably just get acceptance rates, maybe 70% or 65, 70%. But for a pure academic, you can get between 40 and 50%. Okay. Now, of course, you need to have interesting research. What does it mean, interesting research? Say, for example, you just only publish corporate governance. Everybody knows corporate governance. Just show the interesting research. Say, for example, it's just very common about sustainability. Everybody knows sustainability, economic, social, environmental impact. Everybody knows sustainability development goals. So any interesting idea, novelty, advanced data analysis, that's very important. Does mean, we need to have advanced statistical approach. Well, if you choose the advanced statistical multi-criteria decision making, or make sure you have substantially very good knowledge and understanding about advanced data analysis approach. And of course, you need to have presentation skill. So majority presentation skill, if under my journal, like in the Science, for example, or Elsevier, the system can just give a desk rejection if you don't have a basic standard rule requirement in terms of presentation structure, even for the similarity. So plagiarism is the one particular key issue for publication. So can I please suggest, it's a good idea, you need to check the Turnitin after you have a final draft, right? And check, because my system actually declined a lot of papers. If you got papers like 35% similarities from other papers or from other previous year papers, because you just recycle, reuse them. So it means that you're doing self-plagiarism. Okay, right. This is something, the major reason that paper got rejected. Say, for example, if I'm talking about quantitative, you got hypothesis with a theory and sufficient theoretical justification for hypothesis. And the research question asked were, neither interesting nor important. And contributions in terms of the empirical contributions very weak with the data with poor quality. Okay, so this is the major problem. But mostly the paper, when we review, if you don't have those criteria, unfortunately, we don't give you opportunity to resubmit. Okay. So that's what we call paper got rejected. Can I please give you the tip? So majority, if you are a business scholar in this room, okay? So the safer tip, check target journal, follow author guideline. We know that. Check all references, contact email editors, you know, very short briefs abstract to see whether you accept my paper. So this is something normally I have my own strategy. I email the abstract from the paper, talk to the editor, communicate it with them, whether they like it, you know. It does fit with the journal before he or she send to the reviewers. If we can get a good signal from editor and he or she said that, okay, please go ahead, you know, you can submit to the online submission portal, and then you can do that. The editor, you know, remembers, you know, some particular, you have communication with the person, and you know, and then the person actually, you can't get, unless you have a paper not follow the standard or poor presentations, poor structure, and that's rejection by the system, not by, you know, editor decision making. The system decline your paper. Okay. All paper we have introduction, a literature review I mentioned before, methods, results, discussion, conclusion, acknowledgement, very important. So it's very interesting if you have research grant funded by DICTY, funded by UI or, you know, PUTI, you know, you need to acknowledge that. How many words? Maybe one paragraph, maybe 45, 50 words. And you need to have contribution. Now, I think majority in this room, you are doctorate student or you are master student or you're still doing writing of thesis. Please remember, think about it. If you got thesis examiners, majority, my question is, what's the contribution to the body of knowledge from your research? What's the contribution to the practitioners? If you cannot answer those questions, unfortunately, untuk sidang proposal, is a big question mark. So I know Indonesia, you got sidang proposal, sidang hasil, and what is their last one? Sidang akhir, isn't it?
Yes.
So you got three. I love Indonesia. I like Indonesia. Very good structure. I think all countries around the world, we have to follow Indonesia system. I like that. This system actually helping for the student researcher in your right direction. So sidang proposal, your proposal defense we call in Australia. So you have a 30-minute presentation for doctorate student. So as a thesis examiners, myself a review, unfortunately I declined proposal defense in the last month, because I don't think your student can go ahead with that framework. And of course, we need to provide, you know, valid, you know, reason. And the panel of the defense proposal actually agree with that. Okay, so we got three examiners usually. Okay, now I think most of you know that you can convert from your thesis, doctorate, master, undergrad to the journal conference papers. So my KPI, key performance indicators, I need to publish Q1 and Q2. Unfortunately, no Q3, Q4. If you got red under SMAGO, not for me. If you got orange, not for me. I like green and yellow. Green, Q1, yellow, Q2. Red, it means that you're brave. I know you're brave enough, but no, it's a Q4. You know, red is berani, isn't it? In Bahasa, isn't it? So yes. You got research proposal to publish in peer review. So mostly my doctorate student publish in the international conference. Or you can publish in the journal if you have innovative research, interesting ideas, strong methods, proposal there, and good contribution to the body of knowledge. Theoretical underpinning is very good. Then I can tell you you'll be able to publish Q3 if you want to. But I know some universities in Indonesia, especially the government university, I know for master, right? You can publish Sinta too, no problem, isn't it? But for master or even undergrad, if you're doing good, why you have to do Sinta too, right? Try for Q2. You can more be working hard and you can try for Q2 and then work together with your supervisors. Now, theses are able to publish in peer review, international conference, journal, and perhaps 3 papers. So my doctorate, I completed my PhD from the University of Sydney. So from my doctorate, all the chapters have been published in a Q1 and Q2. That's why helping me to go to the professorial level very fast, right? And from Sydney Uni, and then I also engage with the industry, with the government, with the stakeholders, and how we work together, research to the industry. And then the student like it, especially with teaching postgrad, because if we are coming from academic, you don't have a very good understanding practitioners or whatever, the industry knowledge, this is the problem. So as you can see, a lot of graduates from industry. So no wonder my universities, a lot of universities in the world, for those you teaching in a master, we need practitioners, right? That's why we know Pak Priyanto Budi Sartono, right? So from practitioners, understanding the knowledge and be able to inform the students and learn about that. So that's, we talk about 2 or 3 papers. So I got my 3 papers from doctoral thesis. It's good idea, at least Q3, because some of the majority you can try Q3, right? So you have a good motivation, inspiration. Then you can move up to the Q2. Then you can go to the Q1, okay? Now, this is very important. I want to tell you for everyone before we have a Q&A. So the process is we do research, you got research proposal, you got research grant proposal, and the data collection, how long that might be, interview or focus group or Delphi interview, questionnaire. You can use a panel data, you can use time series, you need to understand your data analysis, okay? In the paper, research, analysis, data analysis, results and discussion, majority 2 or 3 pages. So you write paper, you write draft paper. Okay, can we write in Bahasa Indonesia? Well, unfortunately, if you publish in the Simago, majority must be English, unless the Indonesia University promote the journal in Bahasa and they apply for Simago and in Bahasa, and then it recognized, you'll be able to get Q3 or Q2. You can if you want to. But can I please suggest international? Can I please suggest, you got international audience, okay? So the knowing target journal, decide which journal, I mentioned before, author guideline, again, make sure you register. Sign up for the manuscript central for Emerald, Elsevier, In the Science, Taylor and Francis, other journal you need to do register, especially you are corresponding author. Do Turnitin, follow step when you submit an article. Have a proofreading for your article before submission, okay? To ensure you have cited at least 2 articles from the journal that you want to submit. And check authors, ensure all authors have university or institution email addresses. So take, for example, a lot of papers published in the science, all the publicity administration staff members, they normally email back to the authors. They just use Gmail, they use only Yahoo. And how can you promote your universities, and you don't have any institution email addresses? So this is something very important, especially you would like to be recognized as a world rank class ranking university in terms of the research, as your key performance indicator, for example. And check your abstract. Some petty abstract is very strict with the word limit, 150 words or 200 words. Say for example, structure abstract with Emerald Insights, because I reviewed these, 2 papers with the structure abstract, and then 3 papers, you know, still 150 or 200 words. So you need to check the author guideline and which target you want to, but you know, I'm more than happy to just give feedback in terms of the novelty, content, structure, and you know, the flow of your thinking, and then how you translate your idea into the abstract, right? So do we need to prepare the cover letter? Of course. Majority, I just received so many cover letter, only 2 sentences like this. Dear Professor, I'm writing to you to submit an article titled, Thanks and Best Regard. It's not good cover letter. Cover letters should include what's the paper about, what is the objective, and give me 1 sentence, what the method you are using, give me 1 sentence, what is the results there. And you just say that we look forward to receiving your valuable feedback, comments, and thanks and best wishes or best regard. So never give 1 sentence or 2 sentences. Okay, so prepare very professional cover letter, submit through Manuscript Central online. Now, review process between 2 and 3 months, usually for Q1, Q2. For me, I invite 3 reviewers, because myself as a guest editor or editorial chief, or you know, for making decision, if I got 2, one say yes, one say no, you give me homework. I don't want to give homework because I got handle 100 papers. Can you imagine for one day, the maximum I need to handle nearly like 100 or 75, got so many emails, so many papers coming through, and then they give me notification, right? So before I assign to 3 reviewers, majority, I got all list of reviewers under my database. I know some of reviewers taking service leave, taking maternity leave, study leave. We can't disturb them. Why? Because when they register, they tell us they're not available July, August, September. They're not available maybe during April, maybe because Ramadan season or Aidil Fitri. No problem, because we got a lot of paper, good reviewers from Kuwait Business School, because it's operated by American University. We got a lot of reviewers from Pakistan, Bangladesh, very top professors, right? So they mentioned that. Now, how many rounds for that? It depends. Majority, I can tell you, if I got 3 reviewers, first say major with accepted with major revision. Second reviewer said decline. And the third reviewer said decline. My decision is decline. No opportunity, no option. 2 say no, 1 say yes, even for major. So what happened, Ferry, if 1 minor, right? Maybe minor because the reviewer said, oh, I'm happy. I can see my name's there in the paper. And the author looks like cited my name, for example. I like that paper, no problem. I just give a minor acceptance, minor revision. Okay. Second reviewer said decline. Third paper decline. I rejected. 2 and 1. 2 rejected, 1 even say minor. So what happened, Ferry? Okay. 1 decline, accepted with major revision, accepted with minor. Wow, this is, to me, I forwarded all the reviewers, let the authors think about it. We just invite them as the first round review. How long does it take to review? If in that case situation, I can give them 2 months time to review and revise and resubmit. If your papers minor, I only give you 2 weeks. Can you please do that? If I were the authors, I would like to get very quickly my papers published, accepted as quickly as possible. Yes, especially if you have the data and you collected data before pandemic, right? And now it's 2022, your data is too old, 2015. Now it's 2022. And you got paper long time, and your paper published in 2024, not good. Nobody want to cite your paper, even though your paper may be accepted already in Q3, Q4. Okay, it's outdated. Unfortunately, maybe you can get a little cited from to other papers. Maybe they like some of the implication part, maybe. Okay, so after you receive opportunity to revise, edit, and then you need to have a file how to respond to reviewers. You need to create a table. You copy and paste what the feedback question from review 1 on the right hand side, the column 2, how you respond. Say, for example, your response is, thanks for the valuable feedback. It is a very valid point in this article. Please see the track changes on page 7, page 2, line 1, first paragraph. The first sentence has been added, into the article. This sentence is cited from the journal. This is this, and you need to explain it. Why? If as a reviewer, when you resubmit, I need to see your file, how you respond. Did you change it? Now, so many authors very naughty. Why? They're only working on the file. They did not change it in the article. Never play hide and seek. Yeah, and this is very important because I normally the reviewers just mentioned that they did not do any changes and they decline it. Unfortunately, maybe they don't have time. Okay. Now, the good thing is if you got second round review, so from major now become minor, from minor become accepted straight away. So the majority for my journal between second round and third round review, they accepted. So when I published the longest one, to be honest, 18 months, it's only review process. 18, nearly 2 years, 1.5 years. Review. Can you imagine? Review only. And then you got 3 months for accepted, blah, 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 and 2 years already. And you need to wait 1 more year until exactly has been published, until give you volume, issues number, page number, And then how many months? Maybe about 28 until 32 months. Wow, it's long already. How do we know, Ferry? Because under Emerald Insight, they can capture when did you submit, when did your paper was accepted, right? When, you can calculate that. These days, usually we can use tracking traceability. When did you submit? When is, and people can see, wow, you submit in 2017. Now, your paper accepted 2020. How many years? 3 years. You cannot just lie with the years numbers. It's now everything is about tracking and traceability, okay? Right. Now, this is list of publications. So this is very good room for workshop. I really want to have opportunity working together, publish together. I really want to see a lot more guru besar in Indonesia, especially UI, okay? Especially universities in Indonesia. So I publish, if you look at a lot of my colleagues from Indonesia, some of the authors, okay? So look at that sustainability, IT or book chapters, working with my colleagues there, all Q1, SGR Q1. Why I put ABDC? Because in Australia, we have a ranking system, what we call Australia Business Dean Council. ABDC, not ABCD, right? Australia Business Dean Council, right? So we got that. Now, the next, what? Okay, so is that exactly nearly 40 minutes? Yeah, 42 minutes. So thank you very much indeed for listening. I just want to get a lot more questions from that. Then we have abstracts. This is very important. Okay. So to be honest, I really want to see a lot more if we have time. Okay. So
thank you so much,
Professor.
Professor.
You're welcome, Ibu Nidan. Okay.
For your insight. It's a very interesting and very meaningful insight that you shared today, because you know, with my own experience, I think writing and to publish in reputable journals is what Indonesians say, menangis darah.
Yes, yes.
So it's really hard.
So don't cry lah. Take
yeah.
it easy. Menangis is cry, isn't it?
Yes.
So don't cry, because if rejected, no problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
You will get used to be rejected.
Jangan menyerah lah. Jangan maju terus, pantang mundur. Nah, itu kan Merdeka Belajar, isn't it?
Yep.
Lagunya saya suka sekali itu, Merdeka Belajar. Okay, any question?
Okay, thank you so much, Professor. Okay, well, Bapak dan Ibu semua, for this session, I will invite participants who want to ask questions. And for those who want to ask, you can raise your hands and turn on the video if possible. You can also ask questions in Indonesia. And for addition, we also prepare prizes for the best 3 questions. So maybe in the end, Professor Ferry could help me to choose 3 of the best questions that we have. Okay, for those who want to ask, please, you can raise your hand and turn on your camera.
Yeah, make sure you ask question, right? Because I don't want like 2 hours is quite short. Because what I really like, you need to engage with the facilitators.
Yes.
Because I'm teaching, I like teaching. If the student quiet, virtual, everything online, you quiet. Sometimes, you know, I can see like you turn on your on there, right? And then getting attendance, getting certificate. You never engage. But I really want to get questions. You can speak bahasa. Saya bisa bahasa, mengerti bahasa. You can ask in bahasa.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Ferry. Okay. Anyone? Anyone who wants to ask question, please raise your hand and turn on your camera if possible.
Okay, if not, then we can just try for abstract until there are a lot more questions, maybe.
Okay.
So we don't want to waste the time until.
Okay, is there no one who want to ask question? Okay, maybe if you cannot ask in the video, you can ask in the chat room. You can ask your question in chat.
Halo Mbak Nida.
Okay, we have Mbak Rini, Kawati Rini.
Yeah.
Okay. Please.
Sorry, I prefer to off cam. Is it okay?
Yes,
Mr.
yes,
Ferry?
yes. No problem.
Yes,
No
okay.
Well, I would like to know what is the best method to use if we would like to writing an article for something that the topic is still like my lectures mentioned that still flying bird. What is the best method to do the writing for this kind of a topic?
Sorry, what is the last word?
My lecture said that the topic is still like flying bird because I'm from the fiscal administration. So my topic kind of you know the regulation is still, I don't know whether is it still in progress, whether it's already made or not. I don't know. So
very good.
But I would like to start my article because this is one of the because this is one of the requirement for me to start to the next progress for my dissertation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ferry.
You're welcome. It's very
Yeah.
good questions, Bu Rini. I think in terms of fiscal actually research, it's a topical research. In particular, you need to understand the regulation policy, right? In a fiscal or, policy, it depends what context you wanted to do. If you focus on Indonesia, or you focus in emerging countries or developing countries, or any comparative, this is something when you want to talk about a justification of your research. So your lecturer and then your supervisors actually want to know whether any substantial paper to support your ideas. Okay. So if you couldn't find, it's okay, but you need to find somewhere in handbook or somewhere in maybe peraturan pemerintah, or exists, right? Rather than you just like guess. But because this is about policy, mechanism, regulation, it must be exists. But you can start with the implication of your research. You can start with the comparative analysis. You can start with, once you have that particular topic, all right, so you need to tell me 5 of the key ingredients, whatever you have read from the handbook, peraturan pemerintah, yeah, the new rule or regulation. Tell me about 5 ingredients from that. And then once you have that, search under journal database or ProQuest or Emerald or EBSCO, key in 5 from that, and you can search best papers to help you with the literature, to help you with the introduction, to help you with the background. So once you download maybe about 7 or 8 or 10, whatever, can you please search whether or not those papers you search, are they in the Simago? My concern, my worry is if you found so many articles somewhere in Google Scholar, they're not in Simago, they are not in non-published or maybe non-ranked journals. It's very hard, it's very bad, because in your doctorate, even master thesis, even honors thesis, yeah, S1, yeah, tugas akhir itu harus published, must be published, must be good articles or good papers in your reference list. Because otherwise, if you have a lot of papers, non-ranked, not published in the Simago journal, and how you claim that your paper becomes strong. And then, unfortunately, those particular non-ranked can drag you, right, and become weak empirical evidence. Does that make sense? So I think my suggestion to you, find strong evidence what you have read, points 5, 6, and then check any papers, and then come back with to your promoter or supervisor, right? And because this particular area you want to find the topic, maybe you still refine the topic until your supervisor, promoter happy with you, right? And then you can start developing your background and then writing up your literature. Okay, hopefully I can answer your question. Now, I think we got question from chatting box from Satrio SBA. Not SBY, eh? SBY is the previous president, isn't it? Not SBA.
Yes, we have question from Pak Satrio.
Okay.
This
Pak
is
Satrio.
Pak Satrio.
Okay.
He also are one of our lecturer here in.
Oh, wonderful. Nice
FES.
meeting you. Hopefully we can work together.
Yes,
right?
in administrative business administration.
Yes, because
Okay.
UI is a top 2 or top 3 universities in ASEAN or maybe in Indonesia, right?
Yep.
University Indonesia.
Yes.
Very, very good uni. You
Okay.
need to produce high quality papers.
Yes.
Never
Yes,
Q3, Q4 if you want to be guru besar. Well, guru
Yes.
besar, not guru besar abal-abalan. Yeah? Guru besar harus yang berkualitas.
So,
That's very important. Now,
okay.
is there any special tool to get hottest? Well, that's a very good word. Hottest topic
Hottest topic
in research. Okay. Does your answer? Yes. Okay. European University or American University, they have particular software. The software can, say for example, if you type the keyword from your abstract, the keyword from your title, and the software can determine whether or not that's highly citation based, or it depends what criteria you're looking at, because the hottest topic is that there's several domain or dimension you can look at, whether the number high citation in that area or the letters, because you're talking the hot, right? Maybe like COVID now, actually, I can tell you, so many special issues going to be dealt with the COVID-19 papers. So many under good journal, they just no more accept any COVID paper anymore. Okay, so I think just be careful if you're still doing a project about COVID. Make sure you publish sometime this year, finish. Unless COVID-19 pandemic, they found new strain after BA.4, BA.5, whatever, you know, and then they're still in the pandemic, maybe they can get extended for that paper, a topic about COVID. But, you know, there's several criteria for the tool you need to look at. Is that the recent papers or the reasons already have been published, or because the methods, you know, or because I think what we call the index impact factor for that journal. From bibliometric to get idea and diplomatic theory. Yes, bibliometric is one of the particle. And then you can look at based on what the theories underpinning for that. And I got two papers about bibliometrics paper. So one paper already published with Erlangga University, right? Bibliometrics. And the other one paper with my, I think, colleague from UGM, Gajah Mada. Okay, so that bibliometric.
Okay.
Now, I think we
Thank
got
you.
paper. Yeah.
There are also questions from Mr. Okay, Hendra.
Okay, it's okay, isn't it? Is it okay?
Yes. Okay, it's okay.
Okay.
Okay. His question is how to prepare a good background of article. What are the structures and what we have to write in each paragraph to present a good structure for editor and the reviewer.
Very good. This is the most difficult when you start learning writing after a good paper. So the strategy when you write paper, normally as a non-English speaking background learner, scholar, you can point and make a dot points. Say for example, okay, I want to talk about the background. Say for example, we talk about COVID-19, okay? Tell about the data about COVID-19, maybe in the first dot point, maybe about 4 sentences, or maybe the first paragraph. You can get from WHO, whatever, or World Economic Forum, or whatever. So you can start with the dot point, then you can expand in the sentences from all the dot point. But just be careful, make sure for each dot point is related. If not related, means like your paper doesn't have a good flow. So the reviewer said, I can't get it because you got so many, you say this, you say that, you say that, it doesn't have a good flow. So can I just suggest that a good background of article, you need to have in the 1 or 2 pages. Usually, if you get more than 2 pages, your background introduction is, be careful, it's too long. The maximum is a majority 2 pages. Now, under background introduction, normally you need to include aim. You need to include the paper structure. In the last paragraph, you mentioned that, you know, after dissection, say that the literature review, a theoretical understanding, or conceptual framework development, hypothesis development, methods, analysis, implication, result, and conclusion, blah, 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 okay? So what are the structure? I can tell you. The structure, you need to tell the background why this topic is important to that journal, to the audience. Answer that question, why? And number 2, after you explain why, you have to tell the recent data information talking about that topic you selected. Number 3, you can get very good 2 or 3 the latest papers related to your topic. Yeah, because you still discuss, about the background. And afterwards, oh, hang on, I found a gap. The previous research did not mention at all, but my research, I pick up this is very good one. Then you can say, therefore, this research is focusing on this, and there are 3 objectives of this paper, and you just say that, and then you mention about the structure of your paper. Does make sense? So what we have to write in each paragraph to present a good structure for editor and the reviewer. For me, when I read, avoid long sentences. Oh, kalimatnya panjang, long sentences. Look at that. I can just read maybe 4 lines in one sentence. Even one paragraph, 1 page is 1 paragraph. Oh my goodness. Bacanya juga capek. 1 paragraph, 1 page. 1 sentence, 4 line. 4 garis, 4 line. 1 kalimat. It's too long. So when you write each paragraph, usually each topic, each subtopic, if each statement of that idea of your research. Say, for example, when I review, I think I really like the title. This is a brilliant abstract. I appraise the topic. Okay. Say, for example, financial inclusion at a crossroad. And the other one, access to finance during the COVID-19 pandemic, evident from Indonesia perspective. And the other one, topic about innovative IoT, Internet of Things, in internal supply chain capabilities. So my paper published in Supply Chain Industry 4.0 in a Q1. So I'm more than happy to have a chat with this scholar. This scholar, normally, maybe who knows, this paper does fit in my journal. And then the other one, explaining how voter turnout amidst pandemic. Lesson from an exceptional local election in Indonesia. Wow, this is interesting. As an international audience, we want to learn from this. Okay, so even though the abstract actually is quite long, because usually we need to have 200 words, unless you publish in the Emerald inside, then you have the structure abstract. Now, I like the tobacco earmarking tax policy in Indonesia and Thailand. This is comparative between Indonesia and Thailand. A search for better policies. Okay, so it's interesting. I can see that comparison between Indonesia and Thailand. So the last one, actually, I need to know about the title anyway. So any question again? Maybe
yeah, we have 2 more, I think 3. The first one is from Miss Nurul Safitri.
Oh, this person Nurul can, yeah.
Rijal first, yeah, or Rijal is okay.
Okay, yeah, you can go first.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Mbak Nida. Thank you, Mr. Jerry. I have some actually one question. So I just finished my dissertation defense last week, and
S2, S3.
S3.
Doktoral
Doktoral
Masih muda S3. Ini kayaknya baru tamatan SMA ini. Ya, Bu Nurul.
Okay, Pak. Okay. So I want to ask, what do you think? What things that should I consider if I want to turn my result dissertation into several draft articles, so I can submit to several journals? Because I use the mixed methods in my research. SAMPLS and also NVivo for data analysis. I take 150 respondents and also 20 informant for my deep interviews. So do you think this is interesting enough to be accepted if I want to submit in journal Q2 or Q1 with that describe my dissertation. Thank you.
Very good question. But I can just give you good tips for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Since you do mixed method, your thesis at least 2 papers. If you target one from quant part and one from qual part, okay. Now the tricky is if you publish qualitative with the 20, you need to look at the journal. As a rule, no, it's a borderline, because if you publish in qualitative interview, if you Q1 usually 25 beyond above 25, you know, as a interview sample size for the 25 minimum, you know, it depends. If you show novelty and interesting, and then, you know, doing grounded theory, perhaps it doesn't really matter with the sample size, because many summer journal, they look at idea or topic or content. Not necessary you have to just sell your your qualitative or your methods. So ideally you can have a qual and quant, or you can make the 3 papers with the whole triangulation. You know triangulation? So say for example, I develop my framework. Okay, don't change your direction, right? Okay, after I just give you, you know, little bit idea, maybe for your future research. So I develop my framework, and then I use the survey instrument questionnaire. So I distribute 1,000. So if we can get like 20% response rate, you can get published in Q1, because 200. Perhaps maybe you can do structural equation modeling. Okay. And to have a next step triangulation to confirm, right, whatever you found from your first research design from questionnaire, then you can have a focus group and vivo, right, to invite the key stakeholders, right? Maybe key stakeholders, I don't know what topic might be, you know, but are really expert in methodology. Are really expert the way you write the whole, and this from the thesis, how you convert. Say for example, my experience, you know, my colleague in Diponegoro Undip in Tembalang, they got doctorate student, right? Normally I said, this is S2 dari magister. Saya sanggup, saya lihat topiknya bisa ke Q1. Benar ternyata bisa Q1. Tamatan S2. Di Peleburan, Undip. Okay. Karena S2-nya kan di kampus Peleburan. And then main campus in Tembalang. Okay. S3, well, kalau Ibu Nurul tanya, ya saya maunya Q1, Q2. Jangan kalah yang orang yang S2. Anak S1 aja tesisnya bisa ke Q1, Q2. Kenapa mau tesisnya Ibu Nurul mau jadi Q3, Q4? No. If you can try Q1, Q2. But can I suggest you? Minimum 2. If your promoter listen to that session, maybe hopefully they agree. Minimum 2, or you can get 3. If you send me the synopsis, I can maybe give you, oh, this is Q1, maybe Q2. Good question from Ibu Nurul. How do we know we want to submit this? I can give you another tip. You know that when you have your thesis or dissertation, you got reference list, yeah? That's why I'm telling you, if you cite very good papers from Q1, Q2, because the product, what you produce, you want to publish into Q1, Q2 as well. The only problem, if you start from the beginning, you only have papers, Q3, Q4, non-ranked journal, this is the problem. It's too late already. And then what happened? Waktu pada sidang S2, cuma dapat B atau C. Ya no wonder. Dapat C lulus nggak? No lulus kan? Dapat C berapa? 50 atau 60? 65 maybe. Yeah. I forgot now. Okay, so you need to cite Q1 or Q2. Okay, now how do we want to publish? And check in the reference list. You highlighted which one Q1, Q2. Maybe choose Q1, Q2 is a quite low impact factor. Maybe impact factor not too high, but you know, the journal is growing. But it's still category Q1, Q2. Yes, Ibu Nurul? So the tip is,
Okay.
look at your reference list.
Yes.
And then highlight. Do a
Okay.
little bit research under Simago. Copy and paste the journal name. Type in the journal, a Google journal name, Simago, click enter. They can give you, is it yellow or green? And then make that. And then search in that journal if you like it. Or that one is maybe impact factor only 25, or maybe H index is only 29. Not bad. You can try that. Hopefully, you're lucky enough and then your paper gone through. Does make sense? And then
Yes. Thank you. Thank
develop
you.
your abstract. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Any
Thank
questions?
you. Thank you so much, Mr.
Yeah,
Ferry.
maybe
You're
Prof. Ferry, we have two questions. Maybe first from Mr. Rijal. Okay,
Yeah.
you can ask your question now.
Yeah, maybe my question is not as fine as others, but I think I'm trying to ask you. I would like to ask about general question. So speaking about impact factor, we must be talking about citation, right? Citation and how the journal ranks in the publisher company or whatever it is. So I would like to ask, when you're about to start writing, what should you prioritize? So there's uniqueness point and novelty points. From what I heard as a journal management team, so some of Scopus journal are in the side of uniqueness, not advanced or not a novelty side. Right? Some journal in Thailand, I believe, there's Q1 and they're just it's not even in English. So when you're about to start writing, what should you prioritize?
Very good. There's a pro and cons. Yeah, Pak Rizal. To me, I totally agree what we call uniqueness. Because that's one element criteria is interesting, creative, uniqueness, whatever the topic might be. Some of the editor, they just read your title. Maybe quick read your abstract. The uniqueness, novelty is usually I can see the entire paper. First thing is uniqueness. By reading your abstract, I know already whether the uniqueness, but I cannot tell until I read the entire paper, the novelty, the level of novelty of your paper. Okay. Because the level of novelty you cannot see from introduction from the background or even from the justification. Sometimes if very good paper, you can see everywhere. For introduction, even for the methodology. Okay. In the good thing for me, as I have a marking score in a Q1, I can tell you, novelty at least in two different sections in your paper. The first one is the intro and background. Second one, literature and conceptual framework development. Sometimes I decline the paper. You develop conceptual framework, you got theories. Now you talk about H1, H2, H3, H4, you know hypothesis? Unfortunately, hypothesis, look, no supporting references, no supporting previous research. Unfortunately, I have to decline it. It's not for my journal. It's not for the Q1. You have to have 3 ingredients. You got literature. Literature, you talk from your topic, and then when you develop your framework, and then you have the theories, must be ada kelihatan benang merahnya. Satu line. If the benang merahnya kusut, ya, jadi kita gulung, ya, kusut, akhirnya saya sebagai reviewer, saya stop baca. If I stop reading, bad news. is rejected. Even though your abstract good, editor happy, but the reviewer, myself as a reviewer one, I stop reading. But of course, I provide comments. My comments usually, if you can see, I can give you a good example. When I review articles, I provide the comments at least is 1 full page. When I examine dissertation, even from Otago, I just submitted the report to the university in Otago, New Zealand. I provided 4 or 5 pages report in one single space. Okay, it's not easy. Read dissertation 291 pages. My dissertation, my S3 di Sydney Uni, saya sampai 2 volume. Volume pertama karena tidak bisa dijilid, halamannya semuanya 481. 10 chapters. And then gak heran 10 chapter temanku bilang, ya gila publikasi sih Perigi, gak heran mau cepat jadi guru besar. Well, kalau kamu mau jadi akademisi ya seperti itu. Ya. 10 chapters. Makanya saya punya publication for my dissertation, at least 6 journal, 3 conference papers, 9 papers related to your dissertation. Jadi Bapak Ibu jadi melakukan doctoral dissertation, di dalam dissertation Anda bisa dicantumkan setelah kata pengantar, abstrak dalam bahasa Indonesia, bahasa Inggris, setelah itu tulis kira-kira list of publication related to your dissertation. Tulis judul 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jadi memudahkan kalau saya punya anak bimbingan, and all my students, whatever they have to publish, they have to list it. When they have a final product, we send to the external examiner, one from Canada, one from Netherlands, or one from somewhere United States. And then those thesis or dissertation examiners must be expert in that field. It's not easy. You can, and then even I cannot send my very good friend to be my dissertation. No, conflict of interest. Why? Ini temannya Ferry, udah deh, saya nggak mau lihat pejamata aja deh. No, doesn't work that way. I have to choose dissertation examiners must be not in the publication together. And then we have to declare conflict of interest. Artinya jangan sampai itu KKN gitu ya. Ada lagi next mungkin.
Yes,
ini
we have one more question. Maybe this is the last question, Professor. From Ms. Novita Ambarita, it's in the chat room. She asked, is there any research on the influence of tax consultants over the world on all taxes contribution in the work that currently submitted? And as we know, it is very difficult to gather data from the client. But however, if we can gather from tax consultant over the world, it would be very accurately useful for all government in the world.
Very good question. Is there any research? The short answer, influence tax consultant over the world. The short answer, yes. Okay. And some of the countries like China, maybe, or maybe, you know, other countries, they use their own languages, right? But the short answer, yes. Okay. Tax consultant over in terms of contributions in the world. Okay. Now, as we know, of course, it's difficult. Okay. So what can I suggest you? As a tax professional, what I can just tell you, to publish in that top tier journal is a very important, right? To see the recent research in that topic. The only thing you repeat from other practical from other country, and you want to repeat to your country, doesn't work that way. That's number one. 2, and the majority in terms of taxation research is dealing with a policy mechanism. So the way you do that, you can develop the case studies if you want to. Can we submit single case study? No. No. Single case study for Q1, even Q2, I can't accept that. Not good. Cross studies or multiple case studies is okay. Comparison other countries is okay. As you can see, it's the true original research for the text research. Is similar like criminal law publication, criminal law, business law, taxation law, common law, because it's a true and original. Now, the main thing criteria for text research is the contribution to practitioners. Practitioner is not only for industry, practitioners is for the government. So the main criteria is that. Second criteria is to the body of knowledge, if any, right? So I think I got 2 papers published in the top tier journal about tax amnesty, right? That paper actually I was working together with Petra Universitas di Surabaya about tax amnesty. Yeah, just read that. It's published already, right? I think in the last 2 or 3 years, you can check in my list of publication, right? So yeah, you can check my profile there. You'll be able to look at, okay? But of course, since my research is multiple cross-discipline, right? So my title is still under supply chain and logistics. Supply chain and logistics is a cross-discipline because if you look at supply chain, not only about production, not only about logistic transport, but we also learn about regulation, procurement, taxation, costing, you know, activity-based costing for end-to-end supply chain, you know, a technology in supply chain. Now, if we talk about technology in supply chain like ERP, now you know that if you are accountant, also need to learn about Oracle ERP, right? ERP also can influence for the supply chain, right? Oracle, SAP, the same, right? So now, supply chain and accountant and then taxation, we need to work together because many people like supply chain specialists, they don't have no idea what the tax involved, right? They just know, okay, I produce, I get the money, you know, and the marketing also is the same. They just want to sell, right? Production, they produce, and then they have no idea. Okay, so that's something you have to know. That's why we have a JASA, you know, tax accountant, right? So in Australia, very popular, especially so many graduate from CA, CPA, you know that if you are chartered accountant, right? There's one of the accredited unit subject is a taxation law, right? Ada benar ya? Ada perpajakan kalau menjadi chartered accountant atau CA atau CPA. Kalau enggak tuh bisa dicek, ya. Okay, hopefully I answer your question. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a very
Thank you so
good
much, Prof.
question.
Ferry, for your answer, and
You're
thank you so much
welcome.
for all the questions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will now our last session. Our last session is a general feedback for our 5 selected abstract. The first abstract is about explaining high voter turnout at Miss Pandemic, a lesson from an exceptional local election in Indonesia. And the second abstract is about financial inclusion at a crossroad, access to finance during the COVID-19 pandemic, evidence from Indonesia. The third abstract is about tobacco or earmarking tax policies in Indonesia and Thailand, a search for better policies. The fourth abstract is about sustaining innovative Internet of Things or IoT internal supply chain capability on retail company performance, a validation mode. And the fifth abstract is about strategi penerapan sistem pembayaran berbasis elektronik or the SPBE menuju open governance system dalam mendukung transformasi digital di Indonesia.
Okay.
For Ferry.
Thank you. So first paper explaining high voter turnout amidst pandemic, lesson from an exceptional local election in Indonesia. Can I please, you please show your video camera if you don't mind, or maybe you say that, yes, please, this is my paper, abstract. No? Is he or she here?
Okay, is the author of the abstract is here?
Not necessary first author, maybe
Maybe second.
him.
Okay, Mas Reza.
Oke. Oke, Mas Reza, Pak Fatur Rahman, ini dari Bangladesh ya?
No, sir. He is our secretary program for the postgraduate.
Oh, Prof D. Looks
Yeah,
like because
postgraduate
Fatur
program.
Rahman looks like my previous PhD student, right? He's from Bangladesh, which is a very
Ini
good.
Bangladesh cabang Depok, Prof.
Oh, cabang Depok, tidak apa-apa, no problem.
Bangladesh,
Right?
Prof, ya.
As long as cepat guru besar, ya. Now, begitu saya baca, this is the novelty uniqueness of your paper. I think the title is a very good. Okay, please don't change, but just be careful. With the title, the certain journal they really need up to 8 or 9 words, 8 sampai 9 kata. Ini ada berapa? Jadi kalau seandainya lebih dari 9 kata, artinya unfortunately you have to reduce. Kalau saya baca mengenai background, the first 3-4 sentences, okay, in that paper is a very valid point because you mentioned about in the last 2-3 years situation about pandemic, okay. So the beauty of that paper, I can see the flow of the abstract is a very good. Now, the only thing actually recent study investigating the effect of COVID-19 pandemic on voter participation across region have shown increased absent. Jadi ini kan orangnya absen, nggak mau pilih ya. Karena apa? Takut kan nggak social distance, ini ya, high risk of being infected. Is correct, right? So against all odds, regardless, steadily increasing confirmed positive cases of coronavirus. So the beauty of this paragraph, the first 4 or 5 sentences, you mentioned about the problem and the background, dealing with the pandemic. Yeah. So can I please suggest, because you use a clear participation model, right, developed by Stoker. I checked already Stoker, 2006 is very good, right? But you need to say that, can you please change, investigate, say that to analyze responsible factors influencing voting behavior in the case of Depok location election. Now, unfortunately, Depok, if I was international audience, I have no idea what is the Depok, right? So you just said that in the case of the local election in Indonesia. Now, because your title is about Indonesia, your and suddenly you mentioned in your abstract Depok, right? So I think just be careful with the Depok word. For me, I know already Jakarta, right? And so every year before pandemic, even every 2 or 3 months, because doing research together with UI, doing research together with UGM, with Pajajaran, with Airlangga di Surabaya, with Petra. So say for example, Depok, I know already, right? So what happened, the examiner somewhere from Netherlands, they call Depok maybe their sandwich, you know, or maybe their sushi, kalau makan sushi. Anyway, so primary data were collected. So I think primary data ini kalau bisa alinea baru ya. Jadi kalau sudah bicara mengenai objektif, ya, setelah objektif, jadi pada intinya kalau abstrak itu ada intro, ada objektif, ada method, ya, data dan method, kemudian ada results. Jadi bikin itu aja. Kalau ada satu paragraf belong to background, satu paragraf itu belong to objektif atau mungkin alinea baru, kalimat baru, ya, alinea baru. Kemudian yang ketiganya data atau method apa yang digunakan. Ya, jadi primary data itu kalau bisa itu the new paragraph. Jadi menggunakan in-depth interview, right? And then representing responsible unit under the major office, political party, and so forth. We know already, yeah. But the thing is, you got primary and you got secondary data. Okay, but the thing is, what method are you using, right? I know you're using clear participation model. So if you use the interview, how do you analyze that? So before you mention the analysis reveal the secondary data, so you got primary data. Kalau kita bicara mengenai data, ada primary, ada data sekunder, okay? Atau data secondary, ya. Jadi kalau data secondary kayaknya nggak perlu dicantumkan, hanya mungkin kita bicara mengenai data analisisnya menggunakan apa, metode apa. Jadi missing satu kalimat, what method you are using. Okay, and then you mention about results. Now, even the keywords very good, right? You got pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, we know already. Okay, COVID-19 is pandemic already. Can you please remove pandemic? COVID-19, you can say pandemic is okay instead of COVID-19, and then you mention local election. I think I rather prefer pandemic. You can choose, because if your paper, if a COVID-19 gone already, you want your paper is gonna be cited forever, because pandemic is a general word, right? So COVID-19 is a more specific, because who knows in 2027 no more COVID, right? And then just only the new pandemic or whatever, and at least people know, right, the paper. So you got local election and voting behavior. So once again, well done for this paper. Sorry, it's abstract. So please improve that. And what I can please suggest to you, based on your keyword, you can try to develop, some of good ground for your literature review, and then maybe helping you with your results on discussion, right? So I think also check the word limit of your paragraph, the abstract, because usually 150 and 200 words, or maximum 250 words. Check with the journal article abstract requirement. Okay, all right. So the next, any question? Ada ini dari Pak Reza? Pak Reza, Pak Sekprokdi? Ada pertanyaan kira-kira dari Bapak Reza?
I think that is sufficient. Thank you very much, Prof. Arya.
Ya, sama-sama Pak. Semoga sukses ya Pak Reza. Memang betul kalau saya lihat dari topical research uniqueness-nya itu relevansinya ada dengan kondisi saat ini. Dan international audience itu bisa dipelajarin karena pandemik ini merupakan global. Jadi kalau bisa dari penelitian ini diterapkan di beberapa negara yang melakukan pemilihan, even di Australia juga sama, baru saat ini kan baru dilakukan pemilihan umum. Makanya Prime Ministernya, terima kasih. Prime Ministernya Antonius Albani. Before we have a new Prime Minister, right? Perdana Menteri di Australia. Jadi pada saat pandemik ya di Australia itu ada namanya Australia Election Committee, right? Jadi ini kan sifatnya sama dengan voting behavior, right? Dengan in relation to COVID. I really the idea about using clear participation model. So the beauty of that paper, you got clear background problem, you got clear objective, you got clear model you want to use, right? And you got clear what data, primary data you want to collect, even though you got secondary data is very good, right? Now, you have to think about it in terms of the sampling, in terms of the data, okay? And then thinking, are you using in vivo? Because it looks like this one is gonna be qualitative research, because you're using depth interview, right? And then, well done, congratulations, Pak Reza. So, kalau tidak ada pertanyaan, kita lanjut ke abstrak nomor 2. Financial inclusion at a crossroad. Access to finance during the COVID-19 pandemic, evident from Indonesia. Can I please know the authors? If you're working and 3 or 4 authors, everybody can show your camera, please. Or say hello to me.
Is the author of this? Okay, this is Miss Adelia.
Ibu Adelia, ya, thank you Ibu Adelia. Bisa lihat itu mana ini? Ada gambarnya? Nggak ada. Oke. Nah ini abstraknya Ibu Adelia. Saya lihat ini structure abstrak. Kayaknya sudah tahu kira-kira jurnal yang akan dituju itu adalah Emerald Insight. Cuman itu dicek kembali apakah that abstract actually you really want to submit to the Emerald Insight. If not, then you need to combine into one the whole section of abstract, maybe 150 or 200 words. So the good thing for structure abstract, because you just fill in like this. The purpose of the paper award is about what is the design, what is the finding, what is the research limitation implication, what the value originality. So when I review that, the first thing I just read the value or the origin of your research. The study contribute to the under-researched determinant of access to finance for MSME. MSME itu artinya micro, small, medium enterprises. So this normally topic, MSME, so many research, actually I review papers dealing with MSMEs. Yeah. So Ibu Adelia said that, oh, memang researchnya nggak ada yang lakukan ini kok di MSME. How do we know? Right? Nanti in your paper, you have to explain that. Because you say the original, but you mentioned under research. Can you maybe explain a little bit more under research in your actual paper? Which section vary? Well, must be under introduction and background. Because you mentioned under research, including literature review. So if you mention under research, the first 3 or 4 pages of your paper, I just read through, and then you can claim that your research is original. Yeah. Okay, go back to the method. Yeah. This research apply quantitative approach. I'm quantitative person. With primary data collected using questionnaire. Yes, questionnaire. People know that. Distributed both online and face-to-face. I think if you have limited word, okay, I rather remove, don't mention online and face-to-face. You can use online and face-to-face in your full paper. For abstract, you just say that this research, you apply a quantitative approach, you know, blah, 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 using questionnaire, full stop. Data are collected from 288 respondents who are MSME owners, right? So this study also employs interviews with selected respondent, government community group to further identify potential margin for recommendation. The data is analyzed using Wilcoxon sign because this is statistic non-parametric, isn't it? I remember when I was teaching statistic, there's a statistic parametric and the statistic non-parametric. So Ibu Adela use Wilcoxon in the statistic non-parametric. This is very good. Very spot on, right? The only thing, if you said that, because you're using qual and qual. Why qual? Because you just said that interview. So what happened with interview? Where is one sentence how you analyze the interview? Because you said that provide recommendation, right? So this is triangulation research. Okay, so that's my comments. Now, in terms of the first objective, okay, so when I read through this abstract, is a very detailed and comprehensive. This abstract is ready to go. Okay, ready to go, because I can guarantee if you brave enough, you can try with Q1 if you want to, because 281 is a good sample size. Wilcoxon with Man Whitney, Kruskal-Wallis, because I remember when I used SPSS, you know, this is my favorite method. Just be careful, do never publish in very strong statistician, because they say, huh, you're using this one, and then they suggest you different technique and you're going to be headache, pusing kepala. So make sure you try to target the journal and the reviewers really the level of statistic level is a low and medium. How do we know? I can tell you. If you do a little bit research in the journal, normally they have editorial section. Under editorial section, you can Google the name, and then check their research. Check ngajar mata kuliah apa. Kalau dia bilang ngajar mata kuliah seperti perpajakan, kayaknya editor chief ini kayaknya semua kualitatif. Nah, hati-hati. Looks like editornya semua gengnya itu, tahu geng ya? Ini kualitatif semua nih. Nanti dia bilang, apaan ini Wilcoxon? Kayaknya saya belum pernah tahu ini. Wah, saya baca. Nanti editornya pusing. Dia cari-cari, oh Wilcoxon itu statistik non parametrik. Jadi takutnya itu. Cuman hati-hati di dalam memilih jurnal. Ada pertanyaan dari Ibu Adela atau Adelia? Adelia. Ya, Ibu Adelia. If I can see Ibu Adelia that paper, yeah, your writing skill is sharp, yeah. So I think what I can appraise this abstract, your writing actually you know what you want to do. So looks like you got a lot information, right? So I'm interested when looking at the full paper. Okay. So in terms of keywords, so access to finance, COVID-19, okay. And financial inclusion. I think I got one paper also financial inclusion. Just check my paper. And then don't worry, Indonesia. Okay. You just mentioned financial inclusion. Maybe you just write MSME S, yeah, because you focus on the micro, small, medium enterprises. Okay. Okay, if you don't have any question, maybe the next one is the tobacco, earmarking tax policy in Indonesia and Thailand, a search for better policy. Which paper, anyone, the authors, please?
Unfortunately, the author of this paper is right now cannot join our sessions, Professor, because they have a undergraduate thesis defense today. So maybe we could go to the next paper first.
Because it's interesting, you know, because even undergrad thesis, if you look at Indonesia and Thailand, is amazing. Anak S1, UI, ya, Universitas Indonesia, ya Bu, Nida,
Betul.
ya bisa give applause. S1 aja bisa seperti ini, ya. Cuma nanti saya mau lihat tesisnya seperti apa, no problem. But I enjoy reading it. But the thing is, even for S1, is a topical research. Now the next one is sustaining innovative Internet of Things. So this is my area. So normally I can give you a lot more comments. Whose paper this?
Okay, is the author of the paper here?
Yes. Jangan malu-malu. Mungkin saya bilang ini paper dia pada semua kicut takut ya. Don't
Maybe
be
because
afraid.
this is your specialty, Professor.
Of course. Who knows this one? I can invite you.
Okay.
If you wanted to submit to my journal. Okay. So
Anyone? No? No one is claiming this paper?
I review already. I think it's better the person here because I read from last night. So I was sleeping until 2:30 a.m. Okay. But I'm more than happy to go through if the person not here. It's recorded anyway.
Yes, this is recorded.
Yeah. So sustaining innovative Internet of Things in internal supply chain capability on retail company performance, a validation model. So when I read through this one, the beauty of that paper, IoT is a supply chain industry 4.0. Everybody know industry 4.0. We got Bitcoin, blockchain, drone, IoT, virtual reality, augmented virtual reality, you know, everything of internet, you know, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now we talk about innovative IoT, right? The second keyword is capability. The third keyword is, I'm not quite sure, company performance. You just mentioned about performance is okay. The last one, you can say that organization capability theory. So you're using organization capability theory, no problem. Because, you know, It's about supply chain capability. So the first two sentences, very good. You mentioned already, what is IoT? Good, okay? But again, do not spend too much about IoT, okay? So I think you can try for the second sentence, not focus on IoT much, but you can say that our adoption, because for this one, I know you're using organization capability theory, right? So I think you can say that you can reduce a little bit in the first few sentences, and you can say that the study, the objective of this paper is to not to determine, because to determine itu artinya kalau kita menentukan, to identify, to determine the level of your research is very shallow. It's better to say that to analyze the effect of IoT capabilities on various dimensions of supply chain process integration, capability, and ultimately company performance. So the only thing here, suddenly you got integration, but in your title does not mention about integration. Your title about capability, but suddenly you got integration. So just be careful, because it sounds like the title is missing something. But I know I got your point, okay? And then suddenly you mentioned about cross-sectional survey. We know that. So retail companies in Jakarta. I think if you mention Jakarta, okay. I think sama dengan paper tadi dengan Pak Reza, bilang Depok ya. Mungkin bilang Indonesia is better. Okay. But in entire paper, then you can mention specific Jakarta. Cuman kendalanya, kita lihat kan kalau di Indonesia, populasinya kan besar. Kalau cuma hanya Jakarta saja, that's the only problem. Okay. Karena untuk Q1, sampling method as well as sample size is a very, very important. Artinya apa? Apakah nanti penelitian ini bisa digeneralisasikan nggak? Karena penelitian cuma hanya Jakarta tok. Even Bogor, Tangerang, Bekasi, Jabodetabek, Bogor, Tangerang, Bekasi, adakah? Gitu loh. Karena saya tahu Jakarta. Mungkin orang boleh lihat, oh Jakarta maybe sama dengan Mumbai, New Delhi, maybe sama dengan Beijing, maybe sama dengan Sydney. It's okay, but in your entire paper you have to mention more details. Your paper uses SEM. Okay, no problem, SEM. But I think your abstract, you just stop until SEM. You miss one section about results. Maybe this is from your proposal defense, maybe. But I think you can publish systematic literature review from your proposal. But I think don't worry about SEM if you want to. But you spend a lot of explanation about supply chain capability, supply chain integration, company performance, right? Organization capability theory. So if you publish in Q1, I need to have 2 theories at least, not 1, because this one is only 1 theory. Okay. Maybe you can, from that, you can, from there, you develop your conceptual model from your systematic literature, because you're using empirical statistic, which hypothesis, because this one I did not see, maybe you can say that the objective of the research, you develop conceptual model, yeah, through the IoT. Then under your proposal or under your paper, you say that ada H1 kan, ada H2, H3, sampai H10. Nah, banyak juga ada pertanyaan gini, kalau Q1, kalau saya punya 4 hipotesis, bisa nggak, Ferry? Well, it depends. Karena nggak bisa kita tolok ukur 4 hipotesa harus menjadi, nggak bisa Q1. Enggak, saya ada yang paper yang 4 hipotesis bisa masuk ke Q1. Tapi explain-nya very thoroughly. And then clear justification. Now, the last paper itu dalam bahasa Indonesia ya.
Yeah.
Saya,
the title for the paper is actually Strategic for the Implementation of E-Government, towards open governance systems in supporting digital transformation in Indonesia.
Wow, very good. The title is sempurna. Why abstraknya nggak mau pick dalam bahasa Inggris?
Okay, maybe the
Kenapa?
author is here.
Walaupun saya
Yes.
bisa bahasa Indonesia, no problem.
Okay,
Ada autornya?
This is Mas
Yes,
Fikri.
sir.
Ya, Pak. Siapa?
Hey,
Bisa.
Professor.
This is Mr. Fikri.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
cannot turn on camera. Got bad signal in here. Sorry.
Oke. Nggak apa-apa, Pak Fikri, Mas Fikri. Kalau saya lihat title-nya luar biasa, karena kita lihat harus ada transformation, betul, abstraknya. Ada e-governance. E-governance saya ada paper ya, di tahun 2014. Jadi e-strategy, e-governance, you know. Kalau saya lihat keyword-nya very good, ya. Cuman ini Fikri kalau saya baca ya dalam bahasa Indonesia memang jelas ya, karena bicara mengenai open governance ya, konsepnya kita belajar mengenai latar belakang permasalahan, ya. Nggak apa-apa ya, saya kasih feedback dalam bahasa Indonesia. Kemudian juga disinggung dengan banyak negara di Eropa. Jadi ada perbandingan, bukan hanya di Indonesia. Jadi the beauty kalau Mas Fikri ini bicara, juga bicara bukan hanya Indonesia. Jadi latar belakang permasalahan atau background dari study, juga bicara dengan negara-negara yang ada. Itu sudah ada kriteria tertentu untuk bisa ke mancanegara dari jurnal ini, paper ini. Dan juga bicara dengan Asia. Jadi kalau kita akhirnya bicara mengenai Indonesia merupakan salah satu negara yang belum dapat secara penuh ya menerapkan konsep open governance. Nah, open governance ini kan cek ya di dalam paper nanti di dalam literatur review. Itu komen saya. Yang kedua, bagaimana kita tahu bahwa Indonesia itu belum sepenuhnya melakukan konsep open governance? Apakah ada paper yang mengatakan seperti itu? Apakah ada evidence-nya, Mas Fikri? Kalau ada, tolong dicantumkan di dalam literatur review. Ya, kalau ada evidence yang negara lain yang seperti itu, mungkin kamu cari ya artikel yang Journal of Emerging Countries yang similar dengan Indonesia yang belum menggunakan sepenuhnya open governance. Ya, jadi kalau ada negara mungkin negara somewhere di India mungkin atau apa, mungkin dibikin comparison di literatur review-nya. Nah, kalau dilihat dari ini, tolong ya, EGDI ini kan pakai singkatan ya. Nanti di full ya, singkatannya.
Yes,
Kemudian, maksudnya, kan ini kan ada bicara mengenai penerapan kebijakan Perpres. Nanti Perpres itu di dalam bahasa Inggrisnya harus juga full, ya. Harus jelas juga nanti di papernya bilang SPBI, yang belum merata, ya segala macam. Itu nggak apa-apa. Tapi itu kan memang fakta, factual information. But in your entire paper, you have to explain. Maybe you can put in a little bit in appendix if you allow to put in appendix. Kemudian bicara mengenai e-governance. Setelah itu e-governance. Jadi penelitian ini menggunakan paradigma positivitis dengan desain penelitian triangulasi. Ya, saya ngerti triangulasi convergent. Dan dilakukan dengan mixed method. Cuman kalau abstrak ini kan masih proposal ya kelihatannya. Karena belum ada hasil ya.
Exactly, sir.
Ya, nggak apa-apa. Karena saya lihat dari ide-ide penelitian dari awal, the beauty ide penelitiannya, kamu bisa menggarap, menggali, memberikan evidence. Apakah betul bahwa Indonesia itu belum sampai ke open governance? Ya. Untuk kedepannya mungkin Mas Fikri, kalau metode yang dipilih mixed method, saya setuju. Levelnya sudah Q1 bisa. Kalau bisa bicara mengenai jumlah paper yang akan diterapkan, bisa 2-3 paper. Karena kalau mixed method itu keuntungan dari mixed method itu saya bisa mereplikasi paper-paper dari hasil penelitian dari quant, dari hasil semuanya, comprehensive method. Saya bisa membuat papernya jadi 2-3. Ya. Even dari konsep modelnya bisa systematic literature review paper keempat. Jadi paper pertama dari your proposal, ya, dari literature review, dari open governance, dari e-governance, apa itu digital transformation in related to governance, and then paper kedua, kalau bicara Ini kan sifatnya ada mixed method triangulation, ya. Mungkin dari metode yang kuantitatif, metode kualitatif, atau metode full method semuanya, mungkin minimal 3 sampai 4 papers. Ya. Nah, ya, oke, ada pertanyaan, Mas Fikri? Sebelum saya kembali ke Ibu Moderator.
No, sir. Thanks
It's
for
amazing,
the
ya. Sorry,
feedback.
in the beginning, I fully presented in English.
Yes, it's okay,
The
sir.
thing, yes, Mas Fikri?
It's okay, sir. It's all clear. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So the good, I'm sorry, in the beginning I mentioned in English because since there's international context, but the thing is I'm trying to engage with the audience so you'll be able to learn, you know, with participants then, and then finally I can speak gado-gado, which means that mixed languages than Bahasa Indonesia, but I cannot speak actually like Bahasa Jawa or other languages, yeah. But the thing is that's a good thing actually. I can speak and I can understand, I can read, and then the main thing for this workshop, you learn something, improvement, edit, revise, and good thing is ensure your paper accepted in the criteria for the reputable high rank journal, which is the Q1 or Q2, or maybe your target Q3, no problem. And then you can move up to the next level Q2, and then after Q2 and Q1. I also did the same thing, okay, in your position, no problem. Okay, so the good thing actually you have a fully commitment to learn and to improve. Okay, and learning by mistakes, no problem. Learning by, you know, getting that feedback, no problem. Okay, so thank you so much, Bapak dan Ibu. I'm so happy, you know, and first of all, I would like to say thank you to the Fakultas Ilmu Administrasi Universitas Indonesia, which is the Merdeka Belajar, ya, yang sudah menjadi hosting di dalam workshop, right, untuk siang hari ini. Saya maunya juga pas datang ke Jakarta mau ketemu, ya, tapi karena waktu pandemi saya memberanikan diri bisa travel, ya. Dan saya mengucapkan terima kasih. I would like to say thank you so much to University Indonesia, Faculty of Administrations, you know, faculty, and then I would like to say thank you to all participants to be here. And again, if you want to contact me by WhatsApp, by email, and you can just ask the committee, right? And then be able to engage a little bit more. So after this session is not only finished. And then can I please give you a message? All the best to your research. And then secondly, please publish more and high quality papers. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Assalamualaikum
Professor.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you so much, Professor, for the feedback and also the insight that you shared today with us. It's a very meaningful insight, very meaningful information that we have today. And okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu semuanya, before we end this afternoon webinar, maybe we could, I will announce, okay, we have 3 best question who will get prize from the committee. The prize is a voucher, a GoPay voucher, with the nominal is 100,000 rupiah.
GoPay, at least you can
GoPay
eat
voucher.
gado-gado, isn't it?
So GoPay is like a
Belanja.
electric wallet. Exactly.
Oh, wallet. Okay.
Yeah, it's like electric money that we use in transaction in Indonesia. Okay. Maybe Professor Ferry could choose the 3 best question. We have a 6 question today from Mbak Rini Ekawati, and then from Pak Satrio, then from Mas Oke, then from Mbak Nurul, Mas Rijal, and last is Mbak Novita. Maybe you could change 3 best question from the 6 participants.
Should I choose? I cannot remember who are they. Can I just check in the maybe can I just let the committee maybe who are the
Okay.
judges? Yeah, because yeah. So if you don't mind, because I cannot track with the chatting, cannot remember. Maybe sudah tua nih. Maybe saya
Maybe
kembali
the
ke ibu
committee
moderator
can.
maybe.
Okay. Is the committee? Okay. Maybe I will postpone the winner for our best three. And last but not least, Prof. Ferry, we also have a certificate as a token of appreciation for you, and
you.
it will be handed by Mr. Dr. Reza Faturrahman as the Secretary Program of the Postgraduate Program in Faculty of Administrative Science. To Mas Reza.
Yeah. So thanks very much, so Ida. So on behalf of the faculty management, we would like to extend our appreciations to you for your valuable sharing and contribution. Thanks very much to Professor Ferry G.
You're welcome.
For today's sessions. Hopefully, also we could meet face to face once again. Also,
yes. Since I'm in Jakarta now.
Yeah.
I would like to visit Depok.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So next time, also we will meet. Also for sure. Thanks very much once again. Also,
I really
Ferry.
want to develop your faculty, and then of course you want to be professor, right? So,
yeah, we look forward also to have a strong collaborations with you
of
and
course.
with your university as well.
Yeah.
Thanks
So
very much.
You can add my WhatsApp if you want to. Yeah.
Okay, I will send you a text to your WhatsApp after this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
And
thank
then,
you so much.
yeah, and then also to our moderator today, so Mbak Nida. So thanks very much, so Mbak Nida, for facilitating also these sessions, and yeah, good luck also with your doctorate study. So
Thank
Mbak
you
Nida
so
is currently a doctorate students at our faculty, and also hopefully she will graduate soon and join us back again as a lecturer here at the VOE. I think that's all.
sir.
Thank you very much. I turn back to you once again. Thank you, Mbak Nida.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Reza, and thank you so much for Professor Ferry G.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our webinar today. I hope that this event could give a great insight for all, especially for all of us who is still struggling to make a great publication. And thank you all for making time to join us here today. And I wish you all a pleasant day. Good afternoon. Thank you. And we'll see you in another event. Thank you so much.
Okay, enjoy the weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you very much for all participants.
Thank you, Prof. Ferry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All the best.
Melewati hari-hari yang kau lalui sendiri, masalahmu takkan